There's no windows, there's no nothing. It's very depressing. So, but I move everything back and forth. And so the lighting in here is terrible for Zoom. It's nice when I'm working just on my computer, but terrible for Zoom. And so I started messing with these like studio lights yesterday and clicked the button somewhere on my Zoom, and I erased all my settings somehow. I have
Oh
no
my
idea. I
God.
had to go back, and there's nothing that stresses me out more than having to figure out how I had something set up because it never changes. I don't have any reason to change anything. As soon as I did, I'm like, where do I even fucking start? So it totally stresses me out.
Well, if you need me to like be your guinea pig to get all your settings right, just let me know. I'm free. Like it's been just I think it's been a day for both of us because like I didn't have the only thing I had to really do today was meet with my business partner to talk about some stuff and get ready for the show.
Nice.
But then it just didn't work out that way. He ended up oversleeping and I was at the gym and it's just it's been a day, but I was really
Yeah.
looking forward to doing this, so I'm glad that
Well,
we were able to make it work.
man, I appreciate your flexibility. I know you got a busy week ahead of you, so I really do. Yeah, man, it's like it's just like everything happens at once. So
Yeah.
why not today, right?
Oh, dude, that's like me every day. Like every day is just like organized chaos.
Yeah.
When it's not like that, I'm like, what the heck am I gonna like? What's going on? You know?
I feel
Uh,
guilty sometimes when there's nothing going on.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm the same way, man. Long story short, like I've been in the roofing industry for like 10, 12 years. I was a firefighter paramedic for a really long time and ended up getting into sales and then roofing. Well, I lost my job in September.
Of
I
last year?
was, yeah, yeah. So I had been with a roofing company for several years, and I took a huge promotion with another roofing company as a senior vice president of operations. So I
I
left my,
remember you posting that.
yes, yes. So like 2 weeks after I started, the dude that hired me quit. He was like a snake oil salesman. Like he was a hunter and a Christian and all these things that like I had like prayed for. And I got there and it was like, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Ooh.
And he gave his notice and I came in on a Monday. They bought me a truck, they wrapped it, they put me on all their accounts. I came in on a Monday and none of my cards worked. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So they had offered me his position and I turned it down. So they gave it to this other
Whoa.
guy. And I called the guy. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, none of my stuff's working. And he's like, I don't really know, man, but where you at? So he met me at the office. He comes in and he's like, dude, I'm sorry, but we got to let you go. We don't have enough money to pay your salary. We never should have hired you. None of the employees knew that this guy was hiring you and I was done. Like September going into the fall in roofing in Ohio
Oh my
is
God.
not the time to go try to find a new job.
No.
And I left the job I was at on good terms, but they had already hired somebody to replace me. So I basically I'm like, well, I guess it's time to start my own company. I had had my own LLC for many years and just never did anything with it. And that's what I did. Like I've been collecting unemployment all winter and hunting my ass off and just getting all my ducks in a row to do my own roofing company.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts.
Do
It
you
was
find
nuts.
that to be a blessing in disguise now, looking at
Yes.
it?
Yes and no. So the job I left was had been they'd been in business for like 40 years. So I had it made. I had a really nice salary. They provided all my leads. I just went in every day. They had my schedule set up, my route, and I just went and managed jobs, sold roofs, and just the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
So that part was nice. I had like just getting paid every week. Then you knew you were going to get the paid the same amount. That was great. But there were other like underlying issues that had me stressed out all the time. So yes, I think it's a blessing just because I've always wanted to start my own company, and I
Mhm.
feel like I would have never left that other company had I not been given the opportunity to go do this other job. And I think it's all going to work out. I mean, I
The
love the
universe is funny
flexibility,
like that, man.
dude. It is. It really is, man.
I've let's introduce you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode. I don't know what episode numbers this is going to be. This is the first time I've ever had the problem where I have too many episodes recorded, and I haven't like arranged them yet. So that's a wonderful problem for me. But I am joined this afternoon by Hank Gibson. Hank, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I for some reason didn't write your last name down, and then had a moment of panic where I'm like, "Holy shit, is that
Well,
his
when you
last name?"
started saying it, I was like, I hope he wrote my name down.
I just went purely by memory. I wrote Hank on the paper. Not a lot of Hanks these days.
No, no, it's a rare name, man.
Is it a family name?
No, so like when I was growing up, I was like, I hated my name. I'm like, it's like a hillbilly name. So, and you can't even make this shit up. So Hank Williams Jr. was on Hee Haw the night I was born.
I was
Um,
hoping you were going to say the night you were conceived, because that is
No, well,
a
he
way
probably
better
was.
story.
He was probably playing in the background because my dad loved him, and that's what my dad. He's like, it's an omen. I got to name him Hank, and now it's pretty cool. Like I like the name Hank.
So it isn't like your name isn't Henry.
No, no, it's actually Timothy Hank.
Okay.
I've just always gone by Hank.
Okay. Because we have some family friends that when I lived in Florida, they had their son like the day after my daughter. So they're
Hmm.
the same age, and then they when they had their second kid, it was like a day before my son. It was just very odd. Anyway, he was Henry, the boy was Henry, and I always called him Hank, and I know there was never a chance they were going to call him Hank. He was going to be
Right.
Henry forever. But I was trying to think of like, is Hank short for anything else?
Yeah. No,
And
it's
it's
just
not, is it?
it's my name, man. Yeah.
It's a manly name.
It really is. It really is. Like my son's name is Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a super cool name. You
It
you have a
is.
son named Waylon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, like, those are cool manly names.
it really is. And mine. So Waylon, this is really ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever told the story to anybody on a podcast before. Uh, when I was a traveling construction superintendent, I found myself working in Oklahoma, Edmond, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City. And I was in the market for some tattoos. Like I had started a sleeve when I was in Orlando on my left arm. This is like circa 2007, 8, something like that. And so I'm in Edmond, Oklahoma. I'm a traveling superintendent. Um, and I decide I'm going to start filling in all these gaps on my left arm to like complete the sleeve.
Right.
And I didn't even know where to start. So I just looked up some stuff online, drove downtown Oklahoma City, walked into a tattoo parlor, which I couldn't even tell you what it was called today. Um, and I was like, I would like to get some tattoos. Here's what I got going on. And they're like, talk to that kid in there. And he was literally a kid. He had to have been 18 at the time. And so I meet this kid and I start talking about what I have currently and what I want to do, maybe I don't know what I want to do, and does he have any ideas? And he just starts spitballing like, here's what I do here, here's what I do there. And he was this really young, enthusiastic tattoo artist named Waylon. And he ended up finishing that whole sleeve, the underside of my arm. He started my sleeve on my other arm. So like I got to know Waylon, and I spent many years going to see Waylon in Oklahoma City to do tattoos. And then when we started having kids and we were choosing boys and girls' names, Waylon was the only boy name that my wife and I could agree upon. So we knew if we had a girl, it was going to be Ava. If we have a son, it was going to be Waylon. And we were
After your
able to
tattoo
choose both.
artist.
Yeah, after my
Yeah, I thought you
tattoo
were gonna say like
artist.
Waylon Jennings, like or something like that. Dude, that's a cool. Yeah, I like it.
My
I like it.
tattoo artist of
Yeah, this
Oklahoma
is
City.
he made an impact on you, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, my daughter's name is Harlan, and we spell it Harlynn. The real story is that her mom just liked the name, but I always tell everybody that I ride a Harley, so Harley, and then my dad's middle name is Lynn, my sister's middle name is Lynn, so we just combined it, and I used to ride four-wheelers in Harlan County, Kentucky. So,
Dude, that's cool.
it's yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's not many Harlans. I've met some Wyatts, but I'm like a big like Western buff. That was one of the things that we did when he was little, but we just kind of the same thing. My ex-wife and I agreed on Wyatt, and he's definitely a Wyatt, man. He is me made over in so many ways.
Oh my God, that's
But it
funny.
fits him. Yeah.
Too funny. Well, let's take some time. I've been doing a really bad job of this lately, getting the guests to promote themselves in the beginning of the show instead of the end, because I feel like the end sometimes people cut the shit off early and they don't stick it out all the way through. So why don't you just kind of introduce who you are, where you're from, what you do, your social medias if you want, your connections, your promotions, all that good stuff. Let's let everybody know where they can follow along.
Yeah, for sure, man. So my name is Hank Gibson, 43 years old. I live in Southern Ohio, born and raised. I live in the same little community that I grew up in. I've been hunting. I just figured this out the other day, 29 years. It was kind of crazy. I'll tell you this story later on, but like I went to ATA with Lone Wolf, and I was the old guy. It was the first time I'd ever been the old guy by like 12 or 13
Oh
years.
my God.
So I was talking to one of the guys and we were talking about hunting and stuff. And I did the math and I was like, holy crap, dude, I've been hunting for 29 years. And
Was
it
it
was
longer
longer
than that
than
kid?
it was. Yeah. Yeah. It was Kale. He's the warehouse dude at Lone Wolf. So he's like, I haven't even been alive that long.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just couldn't believe that where that was going. That blows my
I know,
mind.
right? So I've my whole life, like I've never wanted to be the old guy, and here I am. So, yeah. So I am in the roofing industry as a career. I've been hunting, like I said, 29 years. I was kind of your typical Midwestern style hunter. I grew up, my stepdad and my father got me into hunting when I was really little. And I had a couple cousins that took me out with them squirrel hunting and all that jazz. And it was kind of something that I fell in love with immediately. It was your typical like they bring you out to some ladder stand in the middle of it's still dark out. I'd never been in a tree stand, never been hunting a day in my life, and they say sit here until I come back and get you. And that's what I did for many years. We hunted the same farm. It was like a private farm in like southwestern Ohio, and you knew where the deer were, and that's where you sat. So that's kind of what got me into hunting. For many years, it was just, if it was brown, it was down. You had farmers around you that were going to shoot every deer that moved. So that's just kind of the way I was brought up. Um, let's see, I got two kids, Wyatt and Harlan. Wyatt's 14 and Harlan is 7. Um, that's really as far as about me, the important stuff. That's probably it, man.
Yeah, I love it. We kind of touched on our kids a little bit, which is sometimes stuff people don't really want to elaborate on. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least kind of talk about the current state of the world. I've had this conversation with other guys,
Yeah.
and you and I are roughly the same age within a couple of years. When you think about the world today and your job as a dad and the way that you were raised and sort of your obligations on what you give to your children and how you raise them and how you leave this world, like when you think about the world today and what's going on with our government, local and federal, the school systems, the social medias, like how do you feel about all of it? Does it make you uncomfortable?
It
Makes me
does,
fucking
man.
sick.
It gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
And I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. Like, how do you raise kids in this world, and not be like a left-wing liberal piece of shit? Politics is something that it can be, you can cause some serious fighting amongst friends and family, but it's a challenge. Every day is a challenge. You try to, with my son. I mean, he's been by my side from the time he was just a little baby. He was always out in the woods with me and riding motorcycles and all that. And I've tried to raise him for many years. It was like I was looking at this all these moving parts. Like, how can I save him from this, or how can I protect him from that, or try to teach him this? And at the end of the day, like they're going to make their own decisions. It's up to us as parents to create a foundation that they can make wise decisions when they're out in the world. And I think I've done a good job with it. I like you hear, we were at the barber shop yesterday, and the barbers were talking about just things that they talk about at barbershops and Wyatt's. I mean, I looked over at the guy and I was like, "Yep, that's my boy," you know. And he knows the difference between right and wrong. And I tell him like, "Dude, it's taken me 40 years to realize that the key to life is to just be a good human." And I think that I've done that with him so far. We were talking before we started the podcast that there's days that like you just want to throat punch them. You know, they're an asshole. But I think that seeing him out in the world and interacting with adults and holding doors for elderly women and saying, you know, please and yes sir and no sir, that that validates that we're doing a good job as parents. But inside the confines of our own home, they can be little pricks.
Yeah.
You know, I think they feel comfortable enough to be that way with us. I have to get him in line sometimes, but yeah, I don't know if that answered your question,
Oh,
but
100%. No, and
yeah,
it triggered me when I was like, Hank is a manly name, and then and so is Wyatt, and I always attribute people that have names like that as having that personality of like alpha, so to speak.
right, yeah,
Leaders, good examples, people that you could trust. And I just again when I made that comment about your name, it triggered that to me because we have that conversation with my kids. So we homeschool our kids, and so they're here all the time, and occasionally they get a little too cozy with us,
yeah,
like you just said. And I've actually had to tell my son like, hey, do not speak to my wife like that. Like, don't just not the fact that it's your mother or a woman. That's my wife, bro. You can't
uh-huh,
talk to her like that. And it's a little bit of a reality check to them, but it's good.
yeah.
I think it's good that they hear the truth and it's not sugar coated and you don't pussyfoot around. And I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I have been going through the exact same thing with Wyatt and his mom. I mean, there's times that he talks to her, and I see red. And I finally told him, I said, I can't control what you do when I'm not here, but you will not talk to her like that when I'm around, ever. Like I won't put up with it. And
Yeah.
ultimately, you know, if she puts up with it, that's her bad. But I'm not gonna do that. You know, like I'm gonna it was weird. Like for many years, like I raised hell and had a good time and did some things I wasn't supposed to be doing. And when I had a little girl, like obviously Wyatt's older and I wasn't like that really in the beginning with him, but when I had a little girl, it immediately changed me as a man. Like right that day, I was like, I got to start being the kind of man that I want her to marry. Like, how can I justify out, you know, going to bars or whatever, and then expect some boy or man to treat her differently. So it's I don't know if it was like that for you, but it was a game changer for me.
It is really sobering, and it's sobering even today because, like I said, my oldest, you know, is not like dating boys, but has crushes, so to speak, and
Yeah.
it's not like a mystery anymore. It's like she's noticing them. She's tall, like she's taller than my wife. Like she looks like a young woman, and it's sobering all the time now. Like it's a
Oh yeah.
new sobering experience to me as a man and a father of like, fuck, I'm gonna have to have these conversations with boys soon. You know, I've threatened to be like the crazy dad, which I don't think that's too hard for her to comprehend or imagine. I realize it's a lot closer than I ever than I believed it was. It's very close,
Oh, for
and
sure.
makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, me
Because
too,
I
brother.
know we're going to a hockey game tonight for my son, and I know there is an older brother on the team that she thinks is cute, and I can't unknow that. I can't unknow it.
Right.
Damn it.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll pray for you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Before we get too far, I want to make sure I looked kind of through your social media over the years, and I could tell that you have ridden motorcycles. Where does like did you grow up around motorcycles, two-wheeled vehicles, four-wheeled vehicles? You
Did.
said you
Yeah, I
did
did, man.
four-wheelers.
It's like I think a lot of us, man, you know, manly men, we were a product of our environment.
Yeah.
my grandfather rode a Harley. My dad rode a Harley when I was little. Like, I wanted to buy a crotch rocket, and he told me, that's fine, you buy whatever you want, but you're not going to park it at my house.
Oh,
So yeah,
yes.
it was like when I was little, my grandfather always told me if I never got in any trouble, he was going to give me his Harley.
Oh shit.
And he did, and he did. So like that was when I turned 16, he gave me the keys. When I turned 18, he signed it over, and like 6 months later, I sold it and bought a cooler Harley. I had a
Okay.
lowrider. I went through a lowrider phase. I had a truck with hydraulics,
Oh yeah.
and I ended up selling both of those and buying another one. But yeah, man, it's just something I've always done. It's for a long time. That's what cleared my head. You get on the bike and get the wind in your face, and all your problems are gone. Lately, it's not the case. It's just so dangerous, and people are always on their phones, and it's not as quite as enjoyable as it was before. But I think it's just something I've always done, and I know why. He's been saving his money for months to go buy an electric dirt bike, and those things are like $5,000. So the other day, we're talking about like how you do as parents. We're riding down the road, and he's like, "Dad, I was thinking, I don't think I want this electric dirt bike anymore. I think, I'm just gonna probably keep saving my money and buy a motorcycle, and or maybe a car or something." So he ended up buying a mini bike from Tractor Supply
Oh
for
yeah.
like a third of the cost of what the electric dirt bike was going to get. And it was kind of cool. I seen on his Instagram the other day, him and his buddies got him parked in the garage, and he's already buying stuff to like modify the engine to make it faster and like shocks and everything. So yeah, man, it's just something I've always done. It's like hunting. If I wasn't at school, I was either hunting or riding a dirt bike somewhere.
You mentioned hunting. The reason I asked that is I was going to say, did you have a group of guys? Maybe I don't have to use the G word, but were you in a biker club?
I am. Yeah, actually, I
Oh,
still
you still
am.
are.
I
Okay.
am, man. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of cool. It's an actual motorcycle club, but it's not. We're not gangbangers or anything. We're not,
Yeah.
you know, running guns and selling crack or anything like that. But it's actually a police and firefighter motorcycle club. I was a career firefighter paramedic for like 15 years before I got into the roofing industry. I ended up getting laid off and some other stuff. But yeah, we've got chapters all over the United States, and it's all police officers, firefighters, prior military guys. It's a good group of guys.
What kind of stuff do you guys get together and do?
We do a lot of charity stuff. So there's chapters in every state, and then we've got Eastern territories, national levels, and territories chapters and stuff. And we do like fundraising. We do like scholarships for people to go to the fire academy. Less fortunate stuff every year. We do my chapter. We do a it's like a Christmas breakfast, and everybody brings 50 or $100. We buy breakfast ourselves, and then whatever is left over from that 50 or 100, we put into a pile and we give it to a waitress for Christmas. I think this year we ended up giving the lady, it was like 500 or 600 bucks
Sweet.
for a tip. And yeah, and we don't make anything big of. We don't post it all over social media. We just say, thank you and Merry Christmas.
Oh man, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
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 a lot of
funny
fun.
because people give bikers a bad name, I think, so to speak, because of television and Hollywood and what that portrays. And that's just not the fact. I know lots of guys who just have a group of guys they just like to ride with. Uh,
Yeah.
I had one. I bought myself one when I was younger. I think I had just maybe I don't even know if I'd had a kid at that point. But as soon as I did, and I was traveling, and then like just like everybody I knew was like laying them down or getting hit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell this bike, man. I just can't. I cannot justify it anymore. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it's just like I just as much as I loved riding that thing, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, you gotta constantly be looking,
Yeah.
intersections, and it's every time I go out, it's like somebody ends up coming over on me or whatever. For years, I didn't wear a helmet. But the last couple years, like if I'm on a pretty good ride, I have a helmet on. So
Yeah.
it's scary out there nowadays.
Well, I noticed you kind of hunting related. I noticed that you've really started to promote Lone Wolf custom gear over the course of the last couple of years, more so than I had noticed. I guess maybe prior to that, but like, how did that relationship? How did that come about?
Dude, that's a super cool story. So like I said in the beginning, for years I hunted in ladder stands in the same pinch point funnels that you did every single time. And you know, I've killed a lot of deer over the years. Never anything what I would say monsters consistently. I've had, you know, I've killed some nice deer. Um, but a few years ago, a couple years ago, I a buddy of mine, I seen on his Facebook that he was hunting out of a tree saddle. And I messaged him. I'm like, hey man, like what is this thing? He's like, oh, it's a saddle. So he's like, yeah, man, it's called mobile hunting. So if I wasn't in a ladder stand, I was in a Summit Viper climber growing
Mm-hmm.
up. And I guess I was mobile hunting and didn't even realize it. So I end up talking with this guy and you know, I'm like, man, that's super interesting. And I'm a gear nerd anyway. Excuse me. Like if I see something that looks cool, I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna learn everything I can about it, and then I'm gonna probably go buy two or three versions of that until I figure out what it is that I like. So I ended up buying a saddle and a platform and really started enjoying that mobile style hunting. And I tried the sticks and platforms. I tried the one stick, and you know, I hadn't really thought about the whole hang on type of stand. So uh, I didn't like the one sticking. So I ended up selling or trading a guy for like an old first gen point five. Um, and I fell in love with it, man. Like I killed a deer like the first time I went out in it and I was doing the hybrid style hunting and I was like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
this is it. Like all this other crap that I've tried is not, it just, I didn't love it and I just fell in love with it. So fast forward, I ran that stand for a couple seasons and I wanted to kind of upgrade to something. And Wyatt was starting to get older, like we did when he was growing up. We hunted in ground blinds. Then we moved up to like double ladder stands, and he was starting to get antsy and where he wanted to not necessarily hunt right next to me. So I looked up one of the outdoor shows and saw that Lone Wolf was going to be at one of those shows. So I did some research on what I was wanting to upgrade to, and I went in and was talking to those guys, and I kind of it was I know you know probably AJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked up to him. I was like, "Look, man, I want a 1.0, a point 0.5, and some sticks. And you know, I know this is what I want because a lot of times with Wyatt, I'll hunt right over his shoulder, um, or you know, just to where I can see him. So I went in and upgraded my stands. And when I met those guys, like I immediately, it was like, man, these are the like, you know, I've had hunting buddies over the years, and we get older and have kids, and you know, you just don't see them or hunt with them as much. And I've always been the type like when I hunt, especially when I got into the mobile side of it, like I'm really aggressive when I'm in the woods. You know, because I'm just constantly, I don't like this tree. If I could just get a little bit closer, and then you start listening to podcasts and learning about hunting, you know, scouting your way into places and hunting the fresh sign. So um, I was looking for a group of guys that wanted to hunt like I did. A lot of the guys that I've hunted with, they still, you know, they hunt in ladder stands or box blinds or whatever. So while I was there, I was just bullshitting with those guys, and immediately I hit it off with them. I'm like, man, these are like this is my kind of people. So I ended up buying those stands and hunting with those for a season. And throughout the season, I just stayed connected with those guys, you know, on social media, and we had exchanged phone numbers and just really hit it off. Like, you know, everybody talks about brotherhood and you know that alpha iron sharpens iron type of personalities, and those guys just seemed like they were that style hunters. So that's kind of when I started getting into the social media content creation style stuff. I was posting pictures and videos and every time I did, there was a lone wolf tree stand in the background. And my son, that was around the time like he had created a YouTube channel.
Mm.
And I don't know if your kids like they videotape or they'll watch YouTube videos of people playing video games for like hours and hours.
Yes.
And then he started doing that crap.
Okay.
And I'm like, he's like, I'm a content creator. I got my own YouTube channel. So I started taking it just more and more serious. Like I just felt like I was being more successful with harvests, and I was seeing more deer, and the type of age class like I had for years, if it was a 120, 110, heck, a 90, like I just, if it got me excited, that's what I shot.
Hmm.
And I'm still like that today. But anyway, I ended up reaching out to one of the guys and saying, "Hey man, like I just kind of laid it all out there. Like, I'm not killing monsters every year, but I am consistently killing deer. I'm really enjoying the content creation side of it, the photos and videos and things. What does it take to be a part of what you guys are doing?" And, he kind of explained to me there's two different teams with Lone Wolf. You've got the Lone Wolf staff guys, and then you've got the whitetail addictions guys.
Oh yeah.
The addictions guys are there. It's all about bone on the wall. I mean, those guys
Hmm.
are just absolute killers for decades and decades. And then you've got the lone wolf side that try to focus on. It's more of like a way of life. Promoting the brotherhood and staying active and being healthy, and obviously killing deer too. But it seemed like that's it was something that I wanted to be involved in. So um, he put me on their staff, and at that point, that's when I started. Like, you would tag Lone Wolf or whatever when you're putting stuff out,
Yeah.
and I just ended up getting closer and closer with those guys. I went to the Whitetail Roadshow in Ohio. I ended up having the opportunity to go out to Iowa for the final leg of the show, and we stayed at Cody's house in the warehouse barn, and just really connected with a lot of those guys that I had really looked up to my entire life. You watch the old Whitetail Addiction videos like on the Outdoor Channel and stuff, and it's like, holy crap, like those guys are super cool. And then the next thing you know, I'm sitting next to them, having conversations with them, and becoming friends with them, and they were just all my type of guys. I feel like for years, like the lone wolf guys kind of got a bad rap, like they were almost hated in the industry. That alpha personality, and for whatever reason, that a lot of guys didn't like them. And I found out really quick, like they are the total opposite of everything that a lot of people had said. I mean, I've never heard any of them say a bad word about anybody. They were more than helpful with me. Um, so yeah, that's where I was at. I met them. I got on staff, and being able to talk to those guys about hunting tactics. It kind of led, I'll be honest, like I killed a mega giant this year.
Sure did. You sure did.
Yeah, it was 203 and 4/8. So we can get into that story in a little bit, but I had hunted that deer for 4 years, and I just never could get on him. I mean, it was just he was like always one step ahead of me. I think we had talked about it
Yeah.
before I ever killed him. Like, this deer is kicking my ass, man. But I ended up having some conversations with some really great guys, Troy Pottinger,
Oh yeah.
um, Justin Sinan, and I'm like, really, it was just I was like the little kid in Iowa. Like anybody that would listen to me, I'm sitting down and I'm like showing them maps and pictures, and I'm like, teach me, like, how do
Yeah.
I kill this deer? So that's I contribute that to being able to kill the deer that I did this year just by surrounding myself with guys like that.
You really bring up a lot of great points in that, and that's a really great story, and it's very relatable, um, in a lot of ways for me as well. But I think the biggest takeaway out of that is that everybody kind of looks at it hunting folks online and sort of idolizes them, and they put these people on a pedestal, and it's like, oh, Lee and Tiffany and Mark and all these guys, and Cody and Andre. And the reality is they're the bulk of the low wolf guys from what I've ever met are just regular blue collar, hardworking, red-blooded Americans that absolutely love what they do. They are passionate about whitetails, and they are more than happy to talk to you about whatever you want to talk to them about. It's such a great thing. Like the fact that everybody looks at these people as like unattainable or out of their purview. It's like, no, they're that dude goes to his job just like you do.
100%, man. I'm
It's
glad you
so
said that.
awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where like that's the coolest part about all of this, that the last several months for me has almost been like a dream. You know, you kill a deer of that caliber, a world-class deer. Like this deer changed my life. It has provided some opportunities for me that I couldn't even fathom uh, a year ago, you know, of some of the situations that I've been in and the contacts that I've made. Um, you know, just it's opened up a lot of really cool doors for me, and like I don't take it for granted, man. Like I'm a humble person anyway, but I can remember a year ago sitting back and thinking like, man, that would be really cool to be on a team of guys that are just killers, you
Yeah.
know, and that share a lot of the same beliefs and, you know, that God, family, and country type of thing. And here it is now, like February, and dude, I'm on one of the most badass teams in the industry.
Hmm.
And like you said, a lot of them, the the hunting industry, I've learned one thing is like every other industry when it comes to drama, and you know, like especially with social media and the he said she said and the crying and bitching and moaning. But like I'm living it, man. Like I'm,
Yeah.
you know, I'm leaving for the Great American Outdoor Show in the morning for several days with the Lone Wolf guys. We're right next to Osseo. I end up getting, I'm a ambassador for them now. But like you said, they're most of all the guys that I've associated myself with and have met are guys like you and I. Like you
Yeah.
said, blue collar, hardworking family men that just like killing big deer or
Hmm.
just like killing deer, like being
Yeah.
in the woods, you know. And I think that's the coolest part for me. If I could say it like to anybody, like, dude, if this is something you want to do, man, pursue, like, live your dream, you know, hunt your hunt. Don't buy into this crap that the industry, you know, you have to kill big deer every year. We all want to kill big deer every year, but you know, if it gets you excited, man, that's what I told my son. He ended up hunting. We got to hunt Missouri this year for their youth season, and we went into it, and he's like, "Yeah, Dad, I think I'm probably just going to hold out for like a 140." And I kind of looked at him, and I was like, "Do you even know what a 140 looks like?" You know, but it's the
Did it,
social
could he
media.
articulate it?
No, no, I don't think so. I mean, it was, I have a hard time articulating what a one, like I see a, you know, a big nice deer. My heart's pumping. I just black out.
Absolutely. Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's one, like I killed my deer on opening day this year, so I've had a lot of time this year to just sit in the woods and hunt for does. And it was like the other day I was like, I've been counting coup all year. Like, you know, I can't kill a deer in Ohio, so I'm just sitting, and most of the deer I've seen this year have been pretty nice bucks.
Of course.
So anyway, so the Missouri thing, like I told him, I said, buddy, like you're 14 years old. You have killed more deer than some adults that I know. And you know, he's been hunting for like 5 years and he's killed like 6 deer, you know? So he killed two
Incredible.
this year. So I'm like, buddy, just if it gets you excited, shoot it, you know. And that's what happened. We ended up hunting a good friend of mine, he leases a bunch of farms in Missouri, and every year he takes a bunch of kids out there for their youth season, and he's got the rednecks box blinds, and he's got these properties managed and figured out. So we hunted in this blind, and you know, the guy told us, he's like, this in this area you're going to have to sit all day. You know, you may see them in the morning, you may see them in the afternoon, but if you sit there long enough, a nice one's going to come out. And lo and behold, like 3 o'clock, man, these two does come running down into the CRP field. And I knew, I was like, get ready, dude. They're getting chased by a buck. And they stopped and looked back, and this buck comes down, and he ended up getting a really nice 10 pointer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's super, super nice. It was cool. There were like 6 or 7 boys that went, and I, it was, I think there was 7 kids, and 6 of them killed super mature deer on the first day. There were
That's impressive.
six nice deer killed the first day. So just a super cool opportunity for him.
So here's a question: Do you score the deer for him just so he
Um,
knows? Like I'm curious to see the evolution, like to be able to say I want to wait for a 140, shoot a nice 10 point, and then realize either this is what a 140 looks like, or this is a 10 point 120. Like how do you guys do you even go down that road?
we don't. So
Okay.
if I'm being completely honest, up until the last, I would say probably 4 or 5 years, I was just if it got me excited, that's what I was going to kill.
Yeah.
I didn't care if it was 90 inches or if it was 190 inches. And as I've tried to develop him as a hunter, um, I've tried to kind of do the same thing. Like, dude, if you're going to be good at this, if you enjoy this as much as I do, excuse me, the only way that you're going to get better each year is to kill deer. And that's the way I was, man. As a kid, like I tagged out every year in Ohio for several years, and it was, it was just whatever deer got me excited. So
Yeah.
I've tried to kind of instill that into him as I've always given him the option. A deer comes in front of us, and I ask him, do you want to try to make a shot on it? Do you want to kill it? And it's just about, well, 10 out of 10 times every time he's smoked it. So, you know, there's never been a time where we're like, oh yeah, that's probably a 120. Let's wait on a 140. And it's just it seems to work because he's gotten better every year. We started in a ground blind with a crossbow, and now we're mobile hunting with lone wolf stands, and he's got a compound bow. Last year, at the end of last year, I told him, I said, buddy, you're getting older, you're getting better as a hunter. Why don't we switch to a compound bow? And that's what we did. And I went and bought him a compound bow for his birthday last year, and he shot it all summer, and that's what he hunts now with
Did he
is a
push
compound.
back on that switch at all?
Um, there were times this year he's like, why don't we just bring the crossbow? I'm like, well, why? Tell me why you want to bring the crossbow. And usually it just ended up being where, call it laziness or immature. He just didn't feel like bringing the con. He knew it would be easier to shoot with a crossbow, and
Mhm.
that's what he wanted to do. And um, he enjoys the I just think the whole compound bow archery, drawing back, leveling the pin, releasing the arrow thing. So he's not really pushed back much. I think he enjoys it. I've had to push him as he's gotten older, and it used to be I'd go put up the stands and we'd go out and he'd get in the tree stand and we'd hunt. And as he's gotten older, I was like, hey, let's go do some postseason scouting. In the summertime, let's go put out some mock scrapes. Let's go hang stands. I've had a lot of pushback with that because he
Mm,
wants to go play with his friends or
yeah.
whatever. But there was last year I didn't even let him. Usually he was in the hot seat. Just about any time that he would go with me, he was the one hunting. And that summer, the deer I've been after that I ended up killing, I mean I didn't kill a buck for 4 years because I was after that one specific deer.
Mm.
So I was out scouting, trying to figure out where he was bedding, where he was living, all these different things, and he just didn't want to go with me. So, come opening day, he's like, "All right, are we going hunting?" And I said, "I'm going hunting. You're not. You have not helped me do anything this year." And, hard lesson learned, but
Hell
this
yes.
year, dude, he was out there, I mean, putting out mock scrapes, sweating, just doing the damn thing.
Fucking love that. I'm going
Yeah.
hunting. I don't know about you, but I am.
Right. Yeah.
That's really funny. I've had that conversation with adults before.
Right.
That's not an exaggeration. We had some guys this year who were like, "Oh, we're gonna come hunt opening day." I'm like, "Who are you?" "Oh, we're family friends." I'm like, "I've been maintaining this property for 10 years. I've never seen you one time come help her by cutting down a tree that had fallen on the trail, or blowing out the gutters, or touching up the paint, or cleaning the dead raccoon out of the pole barn." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're hunting opening day. You can hunt another
Yeah.
weekend.
Exactly, man. And dude, that's the last few years. Like, I feel like I've really stepped my game up when it comes to the whole hunting thing, and going mobile and chasing after that age class of deer, like, dude, you got to put in the work,
Yeah.
and I think that like that's when I talk to people about when I, killing a deer like that, like if I've learned anything when it comes to this style hunting is you got to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, you can go sit in a ladder stand over a corn pile and maybe kill a big buck, but that's 100% luck. Um, and I've tried to instill that in him is that you got to put the work in, and if you want to kill nice deer like that or any deer, to be consistently successful at it, you got to get out there and put in the work. And that's for me, it's the chase.
Oh yeah.
Like when I killed this deer, like I almost went into a state of depression afterwards because every day, and I'm not exaggerating, every day for 4 years, I did something to prepare to kill that deer, whether it was shooting my bow, scouting, trying to figure out where he was living, where he was going, whatever. And then I killed him on opening day. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? You wake up and like you look at your trail cameras or, I kept a journal
Oh
for
yeah.
4 years. Like, dude, it was obsessed. Like it cost relationships. Um, I was obsessed with it. And I would write I have thousands of pictures of this deer and anytime he daylighted, I would write, the date, the barometric pressure, the wind direction, what the conditions were, even when we were hunting, if we seen deer or whatever. And I mean, ultimately, like, I feel like that was a part of what led to me killing him on the first day.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Before we get into that deer, though, I want to
Yeah.
get a couple more things from you. If you had to put together the perfect mobile setup, Lone Wolf and or mix and match other brands as well, like for Hank, if you were
Mhm.
to recommend something to somebody who's looking into getting into mobile hunting, period, what would you recommend to them if they wanted to seek out something at Lone Wolf?
Okay. Well, I would probably consider myself like a semi self-proclaimed expert when it comes to
Love it.
hunting equipment, only because I'm like I said before, I'm a total gear nerd and I
Yeah.
have bought everything that you could possibly think of for mobile hunting. Um,
Do you know who?
trial
Do
and
you know
error.
who? Um, Jace Ostrowski is?
No, no.
So Jace is God. He's gonna fucking kill me. He used to go by the Pollock Outdoors. Now he is Michigan Great Outdoors.
Yes, 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 yes. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking
he
about now.
does a lot of gear reviews.
Yeah.
He's another guy. I think he has also bought everything ever made and invented, and then he tries them out. He does a gear review on them, and then he unloads them. So if you follow him on Facebook,
Yeah,
you
I
can get
do.
some
I think
used
I follow
stuff.
him on Instagram.
You can
And
get a
yeah,
lot of
like
good
you said,
stuff.
he's always putting stuff out there. And I
Yeah,
don't ever really do any reviews on it, but it's just one of those things like I obsess over it. I don't drink anymore. I don't go to bars. Like I stay home with my family or hunt or ride my motorcycle. So when I do something, I've got a super addictive personality and like I obsess over having the best or what works
yeah.
for me. And most of it's trial and error. But if I could say, so this is my ultimate mobile setup. I have two Lone Wolf tree stands. I have a point 0.5 and a 1.0. I run the point 0.5 probably 95% of my season, early season, and even late season. That's my run and gun setup. I do the point 0.5, and I have two uh, micro doubles with 20-inch cable waders. I started with four, and 90% of the time I end up leaving two of them at the base of the tree. So this year I just said, you know what? I'm just going to run two. I keep a little three-step aider in my one of my pouches if I ever need it, but I have yet to need it. So point 0.5, two of the micro doubles, and then I run a bullpath saddle. Dude from Ohio, super great guy, American made, American sourced. He actually just had to change the name of the saddle. It was called the Praxis. And another company just came up with another
Yes,
piece of
they did.
outdoor equipment, and it is also called the Praxis.
Oh, they strong armed him out of it.
They did, man,
Damn.
he was bummed. I was pissed. Like I'm like, dude, that's like this has been out for years. He's like, what am I going to do, man? Like, I'm the little man,
Join
and
forces.
right, right. So he ended up, what did he name it? The El Toro. It's now the Bullpath El Toro, which is Spanish for bull.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I run that saddle. I got the Lone Wolf tree stand, and then I use the Lone Wolf Custom Gear half pack. Um, this year I was kind of like I knew what I was going into the season with what equipment I was going to use, and I fine tuned it a little bit. I didn't use the pack a lot this year. I've tried to go more minimalist, just because I'm the type of person. If I have the room, I'm gonna bring it. Like if I bring a big backpack, dude, I'm like Western elk hunting
Yep.
because of all the crap that I bring. So I if I needed, like a coat or something, I just strapped it to my tree stand and I put like my headlamp and any kind of little hand gear in my dump pouches and that's what I did. And it worked. And then as this, I film my hunts. So that was one thing. Like if I was going to bring in, my camera arm and my Insta 360 or whatever, I would usually just end up putting in that pack and strapping it to the stand and going about my way.
Perfect. That's a great setup.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
and you don't know this, but you segued absolutely perfectly into Bullpath.
Perfect.
Because I noticed you've been promoting him, and I wondered what the connection was.
Yep. Yep.
So that's awesome. I also have, I really like him uh, based on what I can tell from his social media personality. I like him as a person. The products are high quality. I also
Yes.
have, I bought one of his pouches because I thought I was going to use it as a dump pouch, but I ended up not liking the zipper aspect of it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just didn't want to run a zipper. So I put it under my seat on the point five.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
I keep
I
stuff in
keep
there.
mine on. I keep mine. I had it on the point five, but I just ended up I hybrid hunt out of my point five, so I put like a small seat pad on the bottom side of it.
Oh yeah.
So I had it on there, and it just kind of got in my way a little bit. So I
Yeah.
ended up putting that on my 1.0, and I just keep like a grunt tube and extra strap or whatever. But yeah, man, Drew is as American as they come. He's a super great guy. So how I ended up getting involved with Bullpath is social media. Like there's goods and bads of social media, but if anything, like especially Instagram, I have met so many cool people from the hunting industry via
Yeah.
social media. So he ended up following me. So my son and I run. It's called Hank and White Outdoors on Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel, but I don't really have anything worth looking at on there. I'm trying to learn how to edit stuff, and I have hours and hours of content that I've been slowly starting to try to edit. But it's just life gets in the way and you get busy and it's you know how it is.
I do.
So we started liking each other's stuff and like I had run a different saddle
Just so
for
we're clear,
years.
I want to say this, no homo, but it's a little bit like flirting.
It really is. Like
It
I
really
have
is.
so many man crushes that
Oh my
have
god,
ended up
yes.
being like, like yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like I said, it's not homosexual at
No,
all.
it's not in a
It's
gay way at all.
it
It's
is
just
definitely like flirting because you just so nonchalant. We're like, I liked his stuff and he liked my
right, yeah.
stuff. Like
It
that
was
is
super.
so gay sounding.
Yeah. So we ended up connecting on the internet, and in this you talk about weird sexual stuff. It could have got really weird.
Where's
So
this going?
we ended up talking. I ended up buying a saddle from him. Just I'm like, dude, like I love what you're doing. I want to support you. I believe in it. I had a saddle, it was perfectly comfortable, but I was like, I'm gonna buy a setup from you. I just want to try it, and if it sucks, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying it, and I love it. So we ended up meeting in the middle of Hocking Hills, Wayne National Forest, one hot summer day
Oh
to
shit.
go scouting. I had
Did you
never
say
met
under a
him,
waterfall?
dude. I was like, this could get really bad. There's no phone reception. Like, what if this is like I get there and it's like a dude dressed like as a girl or something?
Yeah.
So we meet at this. That was the most center point of the state. He's in northern, like Mansfield, Ohio. I'm down in southern Ohio,
Okay.
and I picked a spot on a map, and I was like, dude, let's go scouting. And we met, and it was like, you get out of the car and you're like checking, making sure this dude's legit, making sure I'm legit. And it was kind of cool. Like I brought him a Hank and White outdoor hat,
Sweet.
not knowing any, and he ended up bringing me a bullpath hat. So
Oh,
it was like
nice.
that Native American exchange of gifts, and yeah, yeah, and so we talked, and we ended up spending the day out in the woods, beating the ground of the mountainous terrain of Wayne National Forest, and we've been good friends ever since, man.
Very cool.
Yeah, yeah,
The one thing, something that will always stick with me are handwritten thank yous.
yes.
And he puts a handwritten thank you in your order. I can't say that he does that for everybody's order, but I know for a fact he did with mine. And I think when somebody takes, even if it took him 10 seconds to write that,
Hmm.
like he still took 10 seconds to compose the thought specifically directed at you, thanking you for patronizing his American made business.
For sure. Yep.
That's really that stuff always sticks with me.
Yeah.
I also noticed that he just had to take down, or like Facebook was throttling his stuff because he's got an American flag and a bison in his, or whatever, maybe it was a bull in his picture, and he had to change it because he felt like he was getting shadow banned.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't
Jesus.
talked to him about it since, but I saw that.
Ridiculous,
So
man.
yeah, yeah. So he's a good dude, man. We ended up doing we did a camp bull path this year. Me, him, and some other dudes that we had met. We ended up going back to that area of Ohio, and we did like a 4-day deer camp. Camped in our trucks. We just went out and scouted and hunted and come back and make dinner and just kind of see how each other's day went. And it was so much fun. Like there was no expectation of anybody.
Yeah.
It was other guys from that Drew had met from the industry, and we all hit it off, and we still to this day talk all the time. And I think that's probably going to end up being something that we do every year is some type of deer camp somewhere, in Ohio.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's good to know that people are as good as they seem online.
for sure.
Not everybody, I'm sure not everybody truly is, but dude, that's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Before we talk about your big buck, I want to get your vibe check. I want to test your temperature here. So I don't know if you know this, but Michigan is a $2 state currently. We have the opportunity to go to a $1 state is on the table, and it is being highly pursued by a large portion of our state's hunters. Um, do you look at Ohio being a $1 state as being tremendously beneficial, or do you think Ohio could benefit from being a $2 state?
Absolutely not. I
It's a
believe
very
that.
political response.
Yeah, I was gonna get real close to the microphone.
You did.
No, so that's I've had opportunities to leave the state of Ohio for employment or whatever. I have family in Kentucky, whatever. So Ohio to me has always been a big buck state. And that's what I loved about it. Like I can remember having conversations with guys and I'm like, I'm not ever leaving Ohio, man. Like I like killing deer and Ohio's got big deer. And I 100% believe that the reason that we do have the caliber of deer that we do is because it's a $1 state. Michigan is, I don't know what the hunting population is in Michigan, but I know it's probably a whole lot more than Ohio. And when you're killing two deer and, whether you don't have antler restrictions or draws or anything like that, I feel like that's probably a big reason why you guys don't have the age or the caliber of deer that Ohio do.
Yeah, we definitely have a portion of the state that could support a tremendous big buck population, but it currently does not because everybody shoots everything.
Yeah.
So you have a great point. There's other parts of the state that I don't know that they'll ever be big buck territories, but that's fine. That's just kind of the way it is. But I just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think I was listening. It was the podcast with you and your brother. You guys kind of touched base on that a little bit, and it got me thinking. Like, there's a lot of other big buck states that have $2 limits. What are they doing differently? But maybe it's the amount of hunters that are in the state. Like Pennsylvania. When I think of Michigan, I think of Pennsylvania.
yeah,
Are they a $2 state?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah.
But
So
like Illinois, I think you could. Man, someone's gonna correct me on this or crucify me. I think you can shoot $3 in Illinois. If you are a landowner, you can have a resident firearm, resident archery, and then maybe a landowner tag. That could be. It's for sure too.
yeah,
Um,
I think Iowa's kind of like that too.
I think Iowa's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Um, Kansas is 1. Yeah. Anyway, it's on the table. I think it's going to get voted on here in the April NRC meeting, which is the Natural Resources Committee's meeting in April. I think that's going to get voted on, and it's looking like it's going to pass. There's also a large, loud population of people who are vehemently opposed to it, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely,
But
man. I mean, at the end of the day, try it for 3 or 4 years, and if it doesn't work, then, go back.
so many people would rather do nothing and continue to bitch than to fucking try something.
Uh-huh.
So listen, you and I did talk before you shot this monstrosity.
Yes.
And there's one thing that has stuck with me for a very long time and will probably always stick with me from personal experience and lots of content consumption when I was injured. Um, there is a point from which a mature buck will pattern you. And I think the conversation that you and I had, and I don't know if this was ever the case, I don't know if it was the reason that you were able to capitalize on this. I feel like there's always a point in every hunting season where the deer have figured out how my fat ass is walking in the fucking woods.
Yes, 100%, man.
And it
I
was always the biggest buck that I would see 1 hour after I got out of my tree. He would walk right in front of the same fucking camera. Every time, 1 hour after I left my tree. And I thought to myself, the fucking deer watched me the whole time. And so I think the conversation with you was, I bet you that buck is what has you figured out. And how do you do everything in the opposite to really throw
Yes.
him for a loop?
Dude, and that was like I remember the conversation with you having that conversation, and we had talked like dude, I was dumbfounded. Like, this deer 100% had me patterned better than I ever had him patterned. And I think so I killed this deer on 4 acres. So 4 acres is a lot different than 400 acres when
Oh
it comes
shit.
to, patterning, both the deer patterning you and you patterning the deer.
I don't remember
Um,
you ever telling me that, by the way. That blows my tits off.
yeah, yeah. So the area that I killed, it sets up like a suburban style hunt, but it's really not. It's surrounded by big ag country. Um, it just you've got these lots of land, these parcels of land that they've built houses on, and they're little 4 to 6, 7 acre tracts. Um, so when I got permission to hunt this place, like I said, I'm in roofing, and I ended up going to this guy's house for a roofing appointment. And I'm always like, dude, if I'm on the road all day at work, like if you've got a piece of property that looks like it could hold deer, I'm asking if I can hunt it. And I'm like, and I give him my story with me and Wyatt, and that we mainly bow hunt and blah blah blah. So I asked this guy, hey man, do you ever let anybody hunt back here? And
What
he's
year
like,
was
no.
this?
This was 2021,
So 4 years ago,
4 years ago.
your
Yeah.
lustful adventure began.
It all began. Like I saw some Facebook memories the other day when like I'm talking about, you know, trying to kill this deer. Like when I say I've got trail camera pictures, like, dude, thousands of them. So he's like, yeah, he's like, nobody's ever asked to hunt it, but there's a big one back there, man. Like, if have at it.
So
My
nonchalant.
Yeah, he's like, and they don't hunt, or anything. He's like, my wife and I put a salt block back there, and we got a trail camera back there, and we just watch them. They're back there all the time. And later that day, he sent me a trail camera picture of this giant in velvet. And the only reason I knew that this was the same deer throughout all these years is he had really little G2s.
Mm.
Like, I mean, it just stands out. Like he's got these massive tines and these little tiny G2s. So I ended up going out there and I put a trail camera up and he already had a salt lick and I did your typical threw a bag of corn out there. I don't, I don't, we could get, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of hunting over corn. Hunt your hunt, if that's what you want to do, do it. So that's the style hunting that I did for many years. I went to a, I had I went to an outfitter one year. I ended up winning like a sales thing and he was going to send me on a vacation. I said, how about you just send me on a whitetail hunt? And that was really the
In
first
state?
time in state. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the first time. I mean, I had heard of people hunting over corn, but this place, that's what they do. Like they are it's kind of like a puppy mill for hunters, but they just put corn out and they send these hunters, they lease up all this property and eventually a deer is going to walk by and they're going to kill it. So that's kind of the around the time that I started hunting with corn. So put the corn out, hang a ladder, stand up, same access, park my truck, walk down, get in the tree stand, hunt for deer. And in that first year I was really starting. I had just killed a really nice 8 pointer the year before on a small parcel of land. And that's kind of opened my eyes. I had always hunted bigger properties, but I'm like, holy crap, man, these small properties, they hold some big deer. And it was kind of eye opening. So the last few years, I've that's kind of where I've focused my Ohio hunting on are these smaller parcels. So I start getting trail camera pictures of this nice deer. His left beam had always had kind of a wonky, it just always ended up sprouting like an extra point or, whatever. So we started hunting the deer. I think we killed a couple does that year, but he would always be on camera, but we would never see him during daylight hours.
Were there any other bucks that appeared to commingle with him on this property, or was he sort of like, this is my fucking house, no one else is in here?
So yes, early on, throughout the summer there was always a bachelor group of bucks together.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of cool how it's set up. I learned after the fact was there was a historical licking branch scrape right in this little corner of where this guy had the salt lick out, and there ended up being a storm come through and blew that tree over, and it totally changed the
Mm,
deer behavior in that area. But I mean, there's been nice deer there consistently every single year.
okay.
So that was 2021. We started hunting him 2022. Never seen him. 2023, same thing.
Not one time?
Not one time, dude.
Not
I
even
never.
from, not on the neighbors, not from 200 yards away? Nothing?
The only time I ever saw this deer alive on the hoof was last year. We were going to knock on the door of the neighbor's house to try to get permission, and I almost hit him with my freaking truck.
Oh,
Me and the kids pull like we're getting ready to pull in this driveway, and this freaking thing runs right out in front of me.
God.
And I got a video of it. Like it was super like why we were all freaking out. I'm like, there he is. And we named him Big Daddy. Wyatt named him Big Daddy 4 years ago. That was the only time I ever seen him up until the day I killed him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. So 2022, 2023, nothing.
Hold on. Hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
You know how fucking demoralizing that would be to only ever see this deer one time with your own fucking eyes outside of a trail camera and yet commit to hunting that. Like, I don't know that I could do it.
Dude, the day I killed him, it was 15 seconds and it was over. It was and I'm like I was obsessed, man. Like when I say it, like it cost relationships, it did. Like it was like I was obsessed with it. So the 23 season, I never seen him, but it was like one thing that was consistent is that we did the same thing over and over and
Mm,
over. The
okay.
same access, the same tree stand, the same corn pile, everything. So like that's like the mobile hunting game for me. Like I feel like it's like the evolution of a mobile hunter. Like we've all kind of gone through it. We grew up hunting or whatever. We hunted the same way. We did the same access, the same things over and over and over again, expecting different results. You want to kill a big deer. I can remember as a kid, man. All right, this is the year I'm going to kill a giant, and it's you see the same deer over and over again. They don't get big by being dumb.
Yeah.
So that's when it leads into what we were talking about earlier. I I started realizing, you don't have to hunt the same tree stand every single time. You don't have to hunt over the corn pile every single time. Your access and all those things, and being able to surround myself with dudes that are consistently killing nice deer, you learn, that the biggest thing, the takeaway from me on that was that I had to get out of my comfort zone, completely out of my comfort zone. So when I got into the mobile hunting, I would hang. It was kind of funny. Like I thought I was this badass. Like I just hung my .5 on the same tree as the ladder stand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm mobile hunting now, and it was cool because I was able to hunt right over wide shoulder,
Hold on just a
and
second.
yeah,
Hey, Charlotte, I had the lights off for a reason, and I'm right in the middle of recording a podcast. Thank you, darling. So the dog, my dog, I'm not fucking cutting this out either. The
no,
dog
you're
is
good.
going ape shit up there, and my littlest one is trying to get the dog to stop. And she just opened the doors. I know she was going to put the dog down here, but it looks weird because all the lights are off down here. So
Right?
she goes, "Hello."
What kind of dog do you have?
She is a full blood Catahoula.
Oh wow,
You ever heard of
I
a
have a,
Catahoula?
I have not. No,
She's they are so it's the Louisiana state dog, and they were bred to hunt pigs.
really. I'm gonna have to look that up.
But
How,
she's
what is it
high
again?
strung. A Catahoula.
At a hula.
Catahoula.
I have
See, yeah.
a I have a French bulldog.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, dude, his name's Diesel. He is the most badass little fucker that you could ever imagine. His personality is he is like he's super chill. Like he wants to be in my lap. He loves the kids. Like he lets my daughter carry him around by his neck. But dude, I don't care if he's tried to beat up all the German shepherds in the neighborhood. Like he's got that Napoleon syndrome.
Hell yeah.
But he's super cool. So yeah.
Sorry, I totally derailed your story, but
No, you're good,
but it
man.
actually I do want to say something. So I think there's something to be said here because you've been hunting this big daddy and you're not able to see him from the stand. So you don't even know how to adjust.
No.
Like you can't say, "Oh, he comes in from the northeast corner every single time. I got to get 50 yards that way." You have absolutely no idea how to start, right?
Right. Exactly, dude.
Oh,
That
stress
was, and that
stress me
was
out.
all, yeah, ultimately that's what was kicking my ass is that I had just done the same thing my whole life, and that's just what I did. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even, it's kind of like hindsight now when I look back on it, it was like, dude, like, get your head out of your ass. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
And so those first 2 years were, I mean, it was like I say I was hunting him. If a nice deer would have came out, I probably would have ended up shooting it. But that's the deer that we were after. That was what like our end game was to try to harvest him.
Yeah.
So from 23 into 24, it was when I really started taking the mobile games serious. Like I just, I started listening to podcasts and meeting people in the industry that were smart and hunted differently than me. And, and I'm one of those dudes, like, if I can learn something from you, that's what, like, I am your eyes, my mouth is shut and my ears are open. And I started paying attention to how some of these guys were killing these big deer, and they were changing something up. You were figuring some things out. It wasn't by chance or by luck that this deer was going to walk by and you were going to shoot him over a pile of corn.
Mm-hmm.
So the 24 season, yeah, I guess it would be 24. Um, I set out and I'm like this is the only deer I'm going to kill. So going back into the 22 season or the 23 and the 24, I got Onyx and I started looking at maps and I realized there was some public land that bordered this private property that I was hunting.
No shit.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I just growing up, like we didn't hunt public because in Ohio, it was like World War III. You were going to
Yeah.
get shot. It was just, you hear horror stories about it. So for the first time ever, I post-season scouted. I had talked to some guys and or heard some guys talking about it. I grew up reading Deer Hunter magazine and all that, and I just, it was cool, but I didn't really learn anything from it. So I started post-season scouting for this deer. I ended up finding that there was a body of water on this public land.
You're not
I'm not
going to
gonna
say too much, are you?
no, 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 no. It's actually at the end. It's kind of cool because nobody can hunt the area now anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the water access thing started intriguing me. I listened to some guys that did the kayak thing and they're kayaking in all these places. So I ended up finding a whole bunch of sign back on this public side. I found like you hear those stories about the car hood scrapes
Oh, yeah.
that are used year after year after year. I found one of those, and I found what the area that I felt like he was betting on. So I get this game plan. I buy a kayak, buy some trail cameras. I got my lone wolf tree stands, and like I'm gonna do it. And the 24 season came, and I tried to focus on the public hunting side of hunting that deer
Okay.
during the 2024 season. I kayaked in the backside. I was going to slip up this drainage ditch and kill him in his bed. Like I had it
Hmm.
all worked out, dude. And again, no deer. I'd get him on trail camera. Not as consistent on the public part of it. I still had a trail camera over on the private, and
And
just it was
you were getting him there
yes, yep,
consistently. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. And I ended up so I devoted that season to him. I had that was really cool. I feel like 24 was like a season of growth for me. Like my eyes were open to all these different things. I had multiple mature deer under me, bow range. Like I did everything right except for I really wasn't in his core area, I don't think.
Okay.
I had him on camera like during Velvet and a couple times during the rut. But I don't think that's really, he wasn't spending a lot of his time there. He would be there consistently every day during early season. I'd have him once or twice during daylight during the rut, and then late season he would vanish. I would assume that he was going to his winter range,
Hmm.
but it was like that consistently every single year.
Let me ask you this: when you think back to that first, we're talking 24 season,
Yeah,
but you first saw this deer in the 21 season,
the 2022 season,
22
21 into
season.
22. Yeah,
Okay, so this is the third year, basically the third season knowing this deer.
yep.
How old if you can recall, how old did you anticipate him being in 24?
I think he was six.
You think he
I
was
would
six?
say I would say 5 or 6 because in 4 years ago he was a giant. I'll send you some pictures of him when we first got him on camera that first year. So he was what I would consider mature, probably 3.5, 4.5 that first year we started hunting him.
The reason I said what I said is I sort of assumed you knew how old he was now. Did you have him aged?
I am getting him aged.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I've got his jaw. I'm actually, my buddy Ty is got, we're going to send it off and get it aged. I'm putting
Love
him
it.
at least 7. Yeah,
Excellent. I would
yeah,
love to find out what that deer was.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. It's super. Like it's like he had to be old. I mean, you can look at his face and tell that he was an old deer.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, it just like it's kind of insane what one year will do for a deer.
sure.
And every other year, like it was his rack would be like one year it would be typical, and then the next year it would be like a wonky, not super non-typical, but he'd have like an extra beam or something. And last year, the 24 season, he was a mainframe 10, and just an absolute giant. Like
Yeah.
I'll show you some pictures of him. He was beautiful. I ended up getting a picture of him late season, and he had broke his right main beam off
Mm.
about halfway.
Do you Did you ever find any sheds?
Nope. No. And I looked, man. I looked everywhere for them.
So I
I'm the
was
world's
just
worst shed hunter, though.
I have my good years and my bad years. Um, I was just listening to somebody talk about how these mature bucks they find this perfect balance of food that their body needs to be as optimally healthy as possible. And I'm always curious with the postseason scouting that you did and the fact that you were able to shoot this deer now, have you been able to look back and reflect on potentially what was missing from the public that you think he was getting somewhere else that would take a deer from a massive 6 year old to an even bigger 7 year old? Or to make that jump from a mainframe 10 to what he ended up being. Like, what do you think he was eating?
That's the thing, man, is like it's surrounded by a lot of ag. I think pressure probably was one of the main things that kept him in his core area.
Mm-hmm.
He lived on a different property that nobody's allowed to hunt, and I think it was a sanctuary. You know, he felt safe. He knew the surroundings. He knew what was coming and going, and he just felt comfortable there.
So he probably had a little bit of everything.
He did. He did. I know. I mean, I know he had quite a bit of like either corn or beans, and then the natural browse. It's yeah. I mean,
And the
that's
supplemental minerals.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Always curious. Always curious about that. I Do you know anybody else that knew about this deer that was hunting this deer?
No, that was wild. That was like I knew I was like, dude. After I killed this deer and it went on social media, I was kind of hoping that somebody would reach out and say, hey, man, I was hunting this deer also. I know that other people were hunting the surrounding properties
Mm,
because I've seen tree stands, I've seen unfortunately corn piles. Like
hmm.
I know he was being hunted on the public side. I had thought I had like found this honey hole that nobody knew about
Yeah.
because it was so hard to get to. If you didn't kayak in, you ended up having to go like up and down like three different ridges, and
Hmm.
it was just tucked over to where you wouldn't really think like that anybody would find.
Yeah. Fascinating. I'd
Yeah,
love the one of the most fascinating things about me with these big deer is where their fucking sheds are laying.
right. Dude, I found a couple. Me and Wyatt were out one day and he's like, let's go shed hunting. I was like, dude, we don't know. We're not going to find a shed. It's not going to happen. I suck at it. It is what it is. He's like, well, there's one.
Ah,
We're standing there and he picks one up and
that's
so
awesome.
that's I would love like you always hear people talk about like that hole that they live in
Hmm.
and they don't ever come out of except to eat and breed. I have yet to find that. And I have walked just about every inch of that surrounding area looking for his sheds. Uh, it's just I don't know, man.
Such a remarkable thing. There was a study that somebody did. I think the MSU Deer Lab did it, where they knew how many bucks were on a particular fenced-in property. They knew when the bucks shed their antlers, and that they only found some minuscule percentage of actual shed antlers on the fenced-in property. That they knew where the deer were all the time, and they could still only
That's
find a certain amount of sheds.
Yeah, but then you got these dudes that they're just bringing in piles of them every single year.
Dude, do
Uh,
you know Tony Van Aston?
no.
So I can't remember what his handle is on Instagram. He's finding mega slammers already right now, up in either Minnesota or Iowa or something like that.
Yeah,
Like this dude
my buddy Justin's
constantly.
the same way, man. Justin Simon,
Yeah.
the dude is, I mean, he's a killer too, but I mean, he's just good at it. I guess, it's kind of like hunting big deer. I always ask people like, man, when does it click? I've been hunting my whole life it just has never really clicked. I never really fully understood how to do it every year consistently. And I guess it's probably the same thing with sheds. You find the areas that they're bedding in or spending their winters and south facing slopes with whatever, but I've yet to get good at it yet.
I would love it if somebody was finally able to get in touch with him and be like, you know what? I just learned that you shot this deer I was hunting. I got like 3 years of his sheds. Do you want them? That'd be such a cool
Yes.
story.
Oh, dude, it would be awesome because they were. I mean, he's last year he was super cool, just super typical and just mass, and that would definitely be awesome.
Well, let's get back into 2024.
Yeah. So that was kind of this, like I said, the season of change, man. I switched everything up. I'm hunting him on the public. Yeah, that's the first time I had seen him during daylight when I hit him, I almost hit him with the truck. But it was just, it was again, it was like, it was almost kind of comical. I would have him on trail camera and I'm like, all right, I'm going in to kill him. Here we go. And he wouldn't show up. And then I would leave and like 15 minutes later, he was there, on multiple trail cameras.
Yeah.
So then it kind of clicked. I'm like, dude, this deer has got me figured out. I park my truck in the same parking spot every single time. I access the area the same way every time. I feel like he was either watching me come in and he would know, or he was coming in like downwind of me, and then if he smelled me, he just wouldn't commit, or he would like if he didn't smell me, like he would J hook in and come
Mhm.
in. That conversation that we had, we're trying to like figure out ways to fool him. I mean, I think we'd even said that I was gonna just go in street clothes and have the homeowner, because you would see him out like mowing or bush hogging, and in like 5 minutes later there'd be a picture of this deer. So that was going into the 2025 season. That's what I was going to change everything that I
Yeah.
had ever done on that property. We had talked like just going in street clothes, having the homeowner ride his tractor around until I got my tree stand and whatever. So the postseason of 2024, I would say this past summer has been probably one of the coolest hunting whitetail summers of my life. I went to the whitetail, like I said, the Whitetail Road Show, and I had talked with all these guys and became friends with some super talented whitetail hunters. And one thing that was consistent was that you have to change it up. You're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. You're gonna have to change your access. You're gonna have to change the tree that you hunt out of. You got to do something different, and that's what I did. So it's a small property. So leading into this season, postseason last year, I was doing some scouting and some shed hunting on this public side, and I find there was somebody else hunting in there, and there was a DNR business card stapled to this guy's tree. So I'm like, well, maybe it's a DNR guy that's hunting back here. So I called the number and left the guy a message. He calls me back and he's like, no, I'm the DNR agent that's in charge of this region, specifically this area. We found it was like an endangered bug or something back in this area, and we're shutting it down for public hunting. We got to do all this research
Oh my God.
and yeah. So he's like, sorry, man, you can't hunt back here anymore. So, I'm like, well, what the heck am I going to do now? And that's what another thing like the 24 season, I ultimately ended up back over on that private property in that same area, the same thing day in and day out. I reverted back to the way that I was. I got frustrated and,
Sure.
uh,
That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So the summer of 2025, I set out to change everything up. Like I took down, all the stuff that I had set up. I told myself I wasn't going to hunt over corn this year, and I put out minerals. I started putting minerals out early season, like right at the beginning of antler growth. I started putting out mock scrapes, and this is something kind of cool. I hadn't even really talked about this. I just found this out when I pulled some cameras and was looking at some SD cards. Um, the week prior to me killing him, he was hitting one of the mock scrapes that I had put out. And I just didn't catch it. It didn't notify
I'll
me.
be
I had
darned.
some videos of it. So I had put out some trail cameras and I would change them. Like if I didn't get him on camera, I would change like the location of the camera or I would move it a
Hmm.
little bit. I felt like if I could find out where he was bedding and where he was going to feed, I could kill him. I'd have a good chance of trying to intercept him somewhere in the middle. And I figured out I had a good idea. There was one day that I got him on three different trail cameras, and I figured out that he was bedding to the southwest of this property on a neighboring property.
Let me ask you
Um,
this.
yeah.
When he would come on to camera, did the deer appear that he was wary? Did he seem skittish? Did he seem confident? Did he come in without a care in the world? Or did he seem like he was really nervous? Or was
I
it hard
would
to
say,
tell?
yeah, it was, I think probably hard to tell.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, it was, yeah, I'd say it was hard to tell.
Okay. Just curious. Again, I was thinking like, we've talked about how this deer probably knows your scent. He
Yeah.
knows what you're doing. And he also knows I smell this homie on this property all the time. And I don't come in when I smell him, but I kind of smell him. And so it's like, you almost wonder, do they approach, have they resolved that in their brain prior to even getting to where you're catching them on camera? Like, has he already gone through his troubleshooting prior to even getting on camera? But if it's hard to tell, like, fuck, I don't know. You'd almost have to have everything on video.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he never really acted alert. Like you can on a trail camera, you can see if they're running or,
Yeah.
they're moving fast or whatever. But he was just, I mean, he was definitely photogenic. But that was one thing I started thinking, like maybe is the trail camera scaring him? But it couldn't have because he was so consistent on that one camera.
He was
The other
comfortable.
ones, yeah, I moved him up, like I would hang him higher or whatever. But I don't really think, I think this deer was just, that was his home. He would stay there until he didn't, and then he would go to wherever he was going.
Yep.
Um,
I
but
agree.
dude, it was crazy. Like it was, he definitely had me figured out. But I pulled the old sneak move on him this year.
Hell yeah, you did.
So
Tell me about it.
yeah, so the minerals, I put the minerals out. He was, I mean, I have when he was just starting to grow his antlers, and I'm like, you hear like, but those Coke can bases,
Oh yeah.
and in velvet, it's hard to really tell, but there was just something about this one that was just different. You could tell, like, I knew it was him. Like it was, they were just little nubs, but like the curvature of his back, the
Hmm.
facial features and everything. So antler season or antler growth season, he's getting bigger and he's getting bigger and dude, it's like as they get past that kind of like weird that like the real thick as they're starting to grow those tines, I was like, man, there's something extra growing up out of there.
Hell yeah.
And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and it's like, dude, that looks like a baseball bat. July and then August and he was just super consistent and it was I could tell that he was coming from the southwest every single time and it was mainly on a north wind, like he would
Okay.
come from that area. So if you think about it, if he always had the wind in his nose.
Hmm.
There were other times that he would come from the north, but it just wasn't real consistent. So EHD hit Ohio this year and it ravaged especially like southeastern Ohio, man. It decimated the deer herd. Um,
Absolutely.
well, when that started, you started hearing people talk about that. Like, yeah, I started getting like I'm worrying. Like, man, like this, there's everything sets up to where like just the water and all this, like it could happen. Well, then he vanished. He just stopped showing up. Well, it was kind of drought-like conditions, and it was just the perfect recipe. Dude, I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And it was like there was like a week went by, and then like 2 weeks went by, and I'm like, he's dead, man. He's dead. And this was like late August. Um, so I had loaded up my kayak to go try to find his dead body.
Oh,
So I'm like, I just knew it. I knew he was dead. So one thing I've learned with especially hunting small parcels, if you don't have food, if you don't have any reason for them to be there, they're not going to be there. You
100%.
it's and the surrounding properties. I had found corn piles, so I know that other people were baiting, but I went into this season that I didn't want to kill him over a corn pile. It was just I felt like I had really changed as a hunter and matured and started learning a lot more about the process of the just deer behavior and what they're eating and all this and that. So I'm like, I'm not going to kill him over corn. It's just not going to happen. So I think he's dead. a good friend of mine, AJ from Lone Wolf, he's like, we're actually in Iowa at the road show, and we're pouting, I'm pouting and everything, and he's like, dude, go put some fucking corn out. He's like, it's Ohio. If you're not doing it, somebody else is. He's like, you're not going to kill him over you don't have to kill him over the corn. Just put it out and see if he's still alive.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It really is. And in hindsight, like this is how I will continue to probably hunt these smaller areas. So I put the corn, I put half a bag of corn out, and like 6 hours later, he shows back up.
He's like, "Fuck you,
And
man. You're not gonna feed
yeah,
me. I'm going to
right.
my someone
I'm
else's
going,
house."
I'm going somewhere else. And
Yeah.
it's, if you don't have anything to eat, why he don't really have a reason,
Uh,
other than till the rut. So I'm like jacked. Like the next morning I was going to try to find him. And so I call a couple buddies and I'm like, he's back, man. Well, he had shed his velvet in that
oh,
meantime. And I think that, I've never had a deer on camera that had like velvet hanging off of their antlers.
yeah.
I feel like they go somewhere to do that. Like there's like a process that they do that with in a certain area, maybe.
Hmm.
I've just never seen it. So I'm jacked. Like, all right, here we go, man. I know where he's bedding. I know that he's going to use this property if there's food on the property on his way to his destination food source.
Hmm.
Um, he I knew that I was going to have to hunt him in the evening because the mornings when he was there like right before daylight. So I knew that if I was going to kill him in the morning, I was going to have to get in way early, and I didn't want to blow him out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to chance it. So we're set up. He had been daylighting a couple times on camera. So the day before Ohio's opening day, my son and I went to try to glass to see if I could confirm where he was coming from. So we went in and we set up, and he didn't end up showing up that night. Um, but now that I'm saying this out loud, we parked in the same spot that we
It's a
always marked
bold
in.
move. Bold
Yeah,
move.
yeah. So yeah, so we didn't see him, but I still felt good about it. I had the idea was that I was going to set up somewhere in between where he was coming from bedding and where he was going to the food, and there was this like janky looking tree that I had always thought about hunting in, but never really had the balls to do it because it was covered with like honeysuckle
Oh
and
yeah.
thorns, and it was like this. It was a triple trunk tree, and like one part of it was dead, but it's set up perfect to slide my little .5 right in the middle of it.
Of course.
So it was like 80 degrees, the opening day of Ohio season. So I get there at like noon, and I'm in shorts and gym shoes and a t-shirt, and I'm gonna get everything set up. I'm gonna cool off, and then I'm gonna hunt him. So I knew that this tree was overgrown. I was going to have to cut out some shooting lanes. So I ended up borrowing the homeowner's pole saw, and him and I are like we're down in this, I call it like the bottom. It's like because the way this sets up is it's just narrow and deep. It's not real wide, but and typically the does and stuff will come up out of this bottom, and I knew that he was more than likely coming from the south. So I cut up two shooting lanes, and it was going to be like up close in person. I had 20 yards, two shooting lanes, and I'm probably like 6 or 7 feet off the ground. But the way it set up was, it was just, I was tucked right in the middle of this tree. I was like bulletproof.
Yeah.
I had a north wind, and you hear guys talking about giving deer the wind.
Hmm.
And I'd always like wondered how the hell do you do that? Well, I did it that day. It was a north wind. The wind was blowing right to where he was coming from, but the way this property sets up, it's kind of like a rolling hill. So throughout the day, my thermals were rising, and they were sucking back just off of where he was coming from. It was
Hmm.
cool. I've got some video, like I'm dropping milkweed, and the wind's blowing this way, but the milkweed is sucking back over my shoulder.
That's
So
very that's cool.
yeah, yeah. So I've got my camera set up, my camera arm, my 360, Osio camo. Like I'm like Bill Winky. Like I've got it in the bag, man.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna happen. My son, like he won. I was gonna bring him, but I'm like, no, like I don't want. I don't want him to smell two of us.
Yeah.
So he's on standby, and I'm sitting there, and I had to hold my bow because the way it's set up, I couldn't hang it anywhere. I forgot my strap, and I'm dropping milkweed and I'm talking to my camera, and I even said a prayer. I'm a Christian, like God is great. I thanked him, for the opportunity to be able to even be there, and let my aim be precise and death be swift and everything. Excuse me, my mom, God love her, she watched my little girl for me, and she had been growing milkweed in her backyard for me, and she gave me 2 pots of milkweed when I dropped her off. So it was
That is
just how
cool.
it all worked out. Like it was kind of cool. It was a
Yes.
family affair. What I didn't take into consideration was when the sun set and the temperature started cooling, my thermals switched. So
Yeah.
these does were coming up out of this bottom to the north.
Oh,
And all evening, I had deer under me. I had a yearling that was bedded. I could have jumped on his back. Um, it was just a super pretty evening. Well, the thermals changed, and these does that are coming out of this bottom are smelling me. So they start blowing at me. And I mean, like they were blowing, they were pissed. There were like two or three different groups that were, I mean, they were highly upset.
I don't mind
So,
getting blown at once, bitch, but if
right,
you're going to blow for an hour, I am
yeah.
not happy.
Yep. It was bad, man. So I was like, I'm done. Like this ain't happening. So like I turned my cameras off. I pulled my face mask down.
Oh,
I'm sitting back, feeling sorry for myself. I think I even said it on the video. Like I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like I guess I'm going to have to try to find a different tree somewhere else to try to get set up on this deer. And dude, I look over about the time I get done talking about that, and I look over and he's standing there.
holy shit. You never heard him like
No,
footstepping? He was just there.
he was just
How
there.
how far?
The first time I saw him, he was 20 yards.
Whoa!
Yeah.
6 feet off the ground, a 200-inch deer. He's 20
Yeah.
yards away.
20
First
yards
first
away.
ever sighting on
Yeah.
stand. Holy
Yes.
shit.
And I'm like, oh, there he is. Like what now? So the way I was positioned, I I try to like when I see him, it was super cool. Like you see, like you hear about old bucks, mature bucks, like every move is precise and calculated. And that's what he took a step, and then like you could see him looking around, and then he took another step, and as that's happening, I'm trying to draw back. But the way that I was sitting, I couldn't get my bow drawn back.
Oh my god.
So he hears my bow let off, like he hears the arrow
Oh,
slide down the rest. And at that point, he's like 22 yards, perfectly broadside in front of me. But I'm tucked in this tree, and there's no way he could see me.
yeah, you can't find it.
Yeah. So he looks around, and then he starts walking again. Well, I'm like, now or never. So I stood up and I drew, and I had 2 lanes, and he was about to step out of that second lane. And I just stuck myself out of a little bit and tucked it and aimed. And I have this like toxic trait where I black out with my filming and stuff. Like I never press the record button when there's a deer in front of me.
Oh,
I get all
me
kinds of
either.
cool like B-roll and before
Yeah,
and after and everything, but I just
yeah.
black out. That's exactly what happened. But I smoked him. I
Oh,
hit him right. He was quartering away, 24 yards. I hit him right at that last rib, and it came out the opposite, right underneath his
oh,
his
baby.
armpit. And I hit him, and Lone Wolf sent us their new arrowheads this year to try out. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a mechanical, like a G5 Mega Meat,
Yeah.
but their new arrowheads, I was gonna try it out. When it hit him, man, it sounded like a freaking sledgehammer hitting like a cardboard box. Like
Oh, baby.
when you hit a deer right, that pop,
Oh, yeah.
and it was cool because I didn't get the shot on film. That sucks. But the camera, my trail camera, got his like as he was getting ready to get shot. It got the picture of him.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cool.
I was hoping that it would have got the shot on film, but
Yeah.
the way I shot him, I mean, he died within a matter of seconds. So you hear you see the picture, but the video is you hear him crashing in the background.
Oh man,
So yeah, yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so dude, I lost it. I
Of course.
immediately call my son. My knees, I'm doing the old knee shake. He is absolutely losing his mind, screaming. The neighbors thought something was wrong. I got all that on video, so that was really, really cool. But dude, it was just like, you spend all this time and you learn these things and you mature and you think you've got everything figured out, and it was over in 15 seconds.
And it feels
Uh,
surreal. Like you
yeah.
almost have to go, did that really just happen?
Yeah. Yep. It was,
Oh
dude,
God.
it was insane, man. I was jacked.
And you visually
Um,
you visually watched him expire. Like you
I
saw
did
him.
not.
Oh, you
No,
didn't. Okay.
he ran into this bottom and it was just so thick.
Yeah.
That I heard him crash, but I did not
Got it.
see him expire. So I called Wyatt. His mom ended up bringing him to where I was at,
Nice.
and him and I and Wyatt was able to find the deer. It was super cool. Like, we got on the blood trail. I had good blood, and he ended up finding him. And dude,
Man.
from then it was at that point it was like a blur. Like it was all like a big dream because when I got to him, and like I felt like I had talked to a couple guys. I'm like, man, like I'm not gonna say this out loud, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna go over 200 inches.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jinx it or anything, but when I put my hands on him and that left side was like just all that palmation,
Oh yeah.
I knew. I was like, dude, I just killed a world-class deer.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and then it was hot. It just about killed us trying to get him drug out of the woods. But I wouldn't change it for the world, man. My his mom was with us, and she was able to video him and I dragging him and trying to get him in the truck. And I have one of those deck drawer systems in the bed of my truck
Hmm.
with a cap. So trying to get he was 200 pounds field dressed. Like I almost
Holy
died
shit.
like 3 times.
Unreal, man.
Yeah. So, dude,
Unreal.
it was, yeah. I mean, and that was at that point, like it was, a good friend of mine, Troy Pottinger, told me, he said, man, go kill that deer and make him famous. And that's what I've tried to do. Like it's like I don't feel like I don't even deserve it some days, but to be able to kill a deer that not even a 200-inch deer, but a deer that you've been after for 4 years, you feel like I've cut my teeth. Like I've developed me as a hunter, the evolution of being what I feel like is a good woodsman, a good hunter, a good father, all these things. It was just kind of the close that chapter of the story has been almost it's surreal even.
You're right. The number is irrelevant. It's way cooler to hear that whole story. I've had that conversation with my buddy Matt who shot a 200-inch deer. And he's like, I hate fucking saying that it's a two. He's like, I hate that it's a 200-inch deer. But I think the fact of the matter is, it's a 200-inch deer, and you did all of this. Like it's two stories combined. Like the deer is magnificent and it's
Yeah,
world class. For all everybody that shoots a deer, the deer is the deer, and it lived a whole life and had stories of its own, and you have your own stories, and they just met here. Like, great, the deer's 200 inches. You may never see another 200-inch deer. That's
right.
just the facts. But the fact that you have history, and you grew as a human, and you grew as a hunter, and you pushed yourself, and you tried things, and you got creative, and you were able to do something. That deer could have been a doe, but if
Right.
you watched, it's just like you selected this deer to go on this journey with. It just happened to be a big deer. Like,
Uh-huh.
and that's what everyone always is like, I don't want the size to be a thing. Well, the size is a thing, and also you did this.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
don't
that's
I
fucking phenomenal.
had I like if I knew that he was going to go over 200 inches, I probably wouldn't have even got it. I out of all the and I've got a lot of deer. I've never had a deer scored. It wasn't a big thing for me, but
Yeah.
that's probably the only reason I had him scored was because I knew that he was going to go over 200 inches, and
Right.
I felt like that deer deserved it, man. He deserved
100%.
it more than I did, you know. I had it scored with Buckmasters originally, and then when we were at ATA a few weeks ago, Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett was there, and they were like, as soon as I walked in with it, they're like, "You gonna let us score that thing?" And I'm like, "Nah, man. Like I'm good. Thank you though. Like I appreciate what you guys do,
Yeah.
but." I'm good because the deductions and everything. But I
Yeah.
ended up, those guys were over at our booth 3 or 4 different times. You know, that you could tell like they wanted because it's a non-typical. You know, that's
Sure.
like a challenge for them. So I ended up letting them score it, and he he grossed for them like 202 and 5/8, I think. So the drying period, and he
Yeah.
netted like 188 and 5/8 or something. So,
Fascinating.
you know, it's the net thing. I don't, how do you take away inches from an animal, you know? But whatever. It's
Yeah.
still I got a booner, you
An
know, I got a
absolute
200 inch deer,
giant.
but you know, I killed a deer of a lifetime, and my son, the coolest part is that I got to experience that with my son,
Yep.
and you know, it's just been super cool, man. Super blessed. Like the
You'll never
opportunities that
forget
it's
it.
no, never. Like it's
Never.
provided so many cool things for me to be able to do. To be able to sit like it's crazy to think like 2 years ago I was at a Lone Wolf booth talking with guys, thinking, man, like how cool would it be to be here doing stuff like this? And
Mm-hmm.
here I am now, like you know, part of the coolest, most badass team in the industry. And I got guys that I've looked up to my whole life that are, I consider a friend now. I get to be on your podcast. Like I've
I
listened to
mean,
your
just so you
podcast
know,
forever.
you are fucking talking to a chili cook-off champion here. I won best most creative name at our chili cook-off recently, so
Oh,
like
wow.
I'm not nobody, all right?
Right. You're kind of like a legend. That's awesome, man.
And I did not have you on here because you shot a 200-inch buck. You just happened to shoot a 200-inch buck, and you're a good dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm so happy to be able to come and do because I've listened like not to be a fanboy, but I've listened to your podcast forever.
I appreciate that.
It's just it's you know it's real, man. It's
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. If I heard one more podcast about thermal hubs and you know I'm just they're all kind of the same. So that's what I like about you, man, is I
I
knew
appreciate
before I even met you, like we're alike, like we get along. You're a good dude and I love what you're putting out and it's funny. You know, you don't have to you're not worried about censorship.
it. Nope.
I listened to the one that you and your wife did. Like you if anybody outkicked their coverage in a marriage, you are that guy. Like she seems like a saint. Like
Yep.
super smart and I know that you are too, but dude,
No.
you're doing a good thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the funny part is she's always been a gamer too. So like Adam and I have had podcasts for years, and we would have her read. If I'm not mistaken, I would print out and have her read customer reviews for sex toys, I think. And
What?
she would read them on the podcast, and Adam and I would just fucking die laughing.
Oh, that's
Uh,
great.
I'll have to find those. Those were pretty good clips.
That's
But
funny, man.
listen, we're gonna wrap this up here pretty soon. I just want to get a couple more things out of you. You
Yeah,
got
no,
you
you're
got a
good,
couple more
brother.
minutes?
Yeah, I got all the time in the world, man.
I don't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
My son has
Actually, I don't
a
either. I
hockey
still got
game.
to go get an oil change, tire rotation. I got to pack, you
I
know, but
promise it won't be much.
no, you're good, man.
Do you ever worry that the bar has been set too high for you
No,
now? Good.
no.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Somebody asked me that. So what do you do now? Where do you go from here? I'm like, I'm shooting the next deer that gets me excited. I hunted Kentucky this year and I mean I got my brains beat in. Mountain hunting is totally different than any other kind of hunting I've done, but that's I love being out there, man. I love
I love
killing
it.
deer. Like it's that's I hunted a lot this year in Ohio and had deer under me and I never even picked my bow up. I just love being out there, man.
Yep. I hope I have that same journey. And I've always said that I hope I never get to that point where the deer that I don't get excited over a common deer. But I shot a great deer a couple years ago, and I have shot much less in inches deer since then, and it's because I just get so fucking excited,
Yeah.
and I don't ever want to lose that. And so it's really I love when guys are like, Oh, whatever the fucking next deer is that comes in and gets me excited, I'm whacking him because that's what
100%.
this is all about.
Yeah.
There's
I
nothing wrong with
think
pushing yourself.
I'm addicted to hunting mature deer now.
Yeah.
Like it kind of like I killed a lot of 2.5-year-old deer for many, many years. And I did kill a really mature deer a few years ago. And that kind of set a different fire in me. It's not even about inches. It's like that age class.
Yeah.
It's just you hunt a deer that's 4.5, 5.5 or above. That's a different, wholly different kind of deer.
Yeah.
So I am addicted to that. I will continue to hunt that age class, but if it gets me excited, man, I'm slinging an arrow.
Good. What do you got on the agenda this year? Shows
Um,
wise, travel
yes.
wise, anything?
So Lone Wolf is going to be at several shows over the next couple months. We're going to be at the Great American Outdoor Show starting Saturday in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're going to be the shows I'll be at. I'll be in Ohio at the I don't even remember the name of it now. There's a show in Ohio, and then there's a couple in Indiana. So that's the plan for show season. This is like my first true year of being a part of the show circuit. We got the Whitetail Road Show that'll be the latter part of the summer. I think those are all going to be the same geographical areas as they were last year. That's a super cool show. They set that up with guys that are that live in that area. You know, if it's a Georgia show, you're gonna have Georgia hunters that are teaching you and talking hunting strategies and
Hmm.
setups. But as far as hunting goes, man, I've hunted Kentucky the last couple years, and I haven't really had much luck. I was after a nice one last year, and he ended up getting killed rifle season by a kid,
Hmm.
like right in the same area that I had been hunting. So the plan for me, I'm obviously definitely Ohio. I'm going to try to set up a like a public land Missouri hunt next
Okay.
year. I'm really hoping to get that set up. When we hunted Missouri this year, I absolutely fell in love with the just the that whole state, man. Like I don't know if you've ever hunted in Missouri, but
Every time I
if
drive through it to Kansas, I go, I fucking love this.
dude, the terrain,
Yep.
the deer, everything. So that's a must for me. And then maybe Illinois. If
Nice.
I had planned on hunting quite a few different states this year, but work things happened and wasn't able to make that happen. So and then I think Wyatt will get to hunt Missouri again next year for youth season.
Good.
I think that's going to end up being a yearly thing.
Beautiful. Well, it sounds like fun to me.
Yeah,
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day today and being flexible with me, working
definitely.
around work. What was the term you used in our text exchange on Instagram? Like
Oh,
herding cats. It's like herding
herding
cats.
cats. Yes,
Ah, yes, it
yes.
is. Adult cats.
That's
Herding
what it is,
adult male
man.
cats. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I had fun, brother. I really did enjoy it. I've been looking forward to it. So
Yeah, me
glad we
too.
finally got to do it.
Thank you so much. Keep in touch. You have my number. Shoot me a text, man. I want to keep in touch with you, and I look forward to following along, and I'm sure everybody else will as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. We'll have to hook up next year in Ohio.
I agree. I mean, that's part of my work territory, so I'll let you know kind of what my plans are. But for everybody that has listened this far, we appreciate you, and we will talk to you all soon. See ya.